Before you decide to put on that bright red or blue shirt, you know, the uniform that identifies you as a proud employee of a big box grocery store, before you do that, take a few minutes to watch this video. I know you'll be glad that you did. Welcome to Over 50 TV, where we give you the latest news on work and money for people over 50. My name is Lou Reyes. Before we go on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to hit that red subscribe button. It's underneath the screen. If you go ahead and you hit that little bell, if you do that too, what'll happen is you'll get our latest updates. Every time we upload a video, you'll be notified in your inbox. There's a thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button because that'll let me know that you enjoyed watching our video. If you stopped by a big box grocery store lately, and really, who hasn't, you've seen people, dozens and dozens of people, a quarter of them 55 and older. They're all running around at an Indianapolis 500 pace. They're stocking shelves, they're working the registers, and they are breaknecking it. They're breaknecking it to customer cars to deliver their groceries. That person with the salt and pepper hair, wearing bright store colors, that person could be you if you decide to take a job at the big box. But before you decide that punching that store time clock, before you decide that's for you, let's get you up to date on working grocery during the coronavirus pandemic. To do that, I'll share information with you, information I read in a recent Washington Post article, and I'll also share some firsthand experience I've had working grocery. First, let me read some excerpts from the Washington Post article. The article was written by Abha Patarai, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, and the article is titled, "Grocery Workers Say Morale is at an All-Time Low." And in quotes it says, "They don't even treat us like humans anymore." And I'm going to put the article up here on the screen. The title for sure, it does say everything that you should know before you take a job at a big box grocery store. But if you're not persuaded or not dissuaded by that headline, if it doesn't scare you into keeping an appropriate social distance from a job in this industry, what it says underneath that headline, that'll have you thinking twice. Hailed as heroes at the onset of the pandemic, supermarket employees now say they're overworked, overwhelmed, and feeling expendable again. Well, I can just imagine right now there's about 4.4 million retail workers, people who are 55 plus years old, and what they're doing, I believe they're shaking their collective heads and they're saying this. They're saying, "That's right, man. Yeah, that is right." I think if you could talk to them, if you could listen to them, you might say, "Yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm working retail." But let's get into the article. Abba writes this. She said, "This spring, for the first time, Angel Manners, she found purpose and pride at the supermarket where she's worked the past decade. Customers praised her as a hero for putting herself at risk during the pandemic. Bosses, they boosted her hourly pay by $2. Suddenly, her job was essential. Nearly 5 months in, it's all gone." She says this, "We've lost our hazard pay and people are quitting every day." That's what Manners had to say. She's 43 years old and she processes vendor deliveries at a Meijer store in northern Kentucky. "Those of us," she says, "who are left are really stretched thin, working so much harder for $11.50 an hour. As you can imagine, hourly pay, it depends, it varies from store to store, but the highest hourly pay that I've been able to see is at big box stores like Costco and Whole Foods. Just in case you're interested, a wise person would keep this in mind. A high hourly wage that doesn't always equate or guarantee a bigger paycheck. Some grocery workers that I know, workers who were excited when their pay was bumped up from $13 to $15 per hour during the height of the coronavirus pandemic, almost immediately they saw their hours reduced. Some had their hours cut in half. This, I suppose, is what you get when somebody sees you as nobody." Well, that's my commentary. The article goes on to say, "Grocery workers across the country say morale is crushingly low as the pandemic wears on with no end in sight. Overwhelmed employees are quitting mid-shift. Those who remain, they say they're overworked, taking on extra hours, enforcing mask requirements, and dealing with hostile customers." When she says dealing with hostile customers, well, I think that's an understatement. Check this out.
It was yet another meltdown over mask caught on camera. The video captured at a Dallas Fiesta grocery over the weekend, now viewed more than 15 million times.
It's a shame what some of these grocery store workers have to endure. Fox Wingate, a 24-year-old working at Safeway in Maryland, she says this: at the beginning, they valorized what was deemed a dead-end job. But 4 months later, they don't even treat us like humans anymore. With more than 32 million Americans collecting unemployment benefits, labor experts and economists, according to the article, they say there's an ever-growing pool of desperate people willing to face hazardous conditions and low pay to put food on the table. But I've said enough. If you'd like to read the article yourself, I'm going to go ahead and I'll put a link in the description box so you can check it out. There's additional information, some comments that you'll want to read if you're considering a job in big box grocery, including interesting comments from more affected grocery store workers, and some responses from spokespeople at Trader Joe's, at Kroger's, and Meijer. The bottom line is this: the Washington Post article by Ms. Batari, and I hope I didn't mangle her name, that article, to me, it was right on. It succinctly sums up everything I've read, I've heard, and I know about working in big box grocery. I want to leave you with one more thought. I do think working in big box retail, I think it could be a decent lifeline, a short lifeline for people who need a job. But I'm going to caution you. If you're going to take a job like that, two things are important. Number one, you've got to have a thick skin. Number two, do not have high expectations. Let me know what you think. Well, my friends, that's all I have for you today. If you would, please go ahead, subscribe to Over 50 TV. You can do that pretty easily. Just go ahead, hit that little red button. It's underneath your screen. There's also a little bell. If you hit that little bell, you'll get our latest updates and they'll be delivered right to your inbox. And there's a thumbs up button. Don't forget, if you hit that thumbs up button, that lets me know and it lets YouTube know that you enjoyed watching this video and that you've got some value in it. Well, as I always say, have a great day, everybody.